Being a parent is inherently challenging. Being a working parent in the age of social media adds all of these complicated layers to the challenges.
Yeah, whether you have toddlers, tweens, or teens, we are turning to the experts to give us a helping hand. And this morning we are joined by New York Times best-selling author of The Parenting Map, Dr. Shefali, to join us in this new parenting age. So good morning, Dr. Shefali. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We have my coworker here who is fangirling big time.
I'm such a big fan of yours.
Because you have such great advice. You've written several parenting books, and the bottom line across the board in all of your books is that as a parent, you don't want to raise children, you want to raise conscious adults. So can you explain that exactly and why that subtle shift is actually very important?
Well, the main focus of my work is that the parent needs to raise themselves. And when you raise yourself into the most conscious adult you can be, then you don't see your children as your possessions or your minions or your puppets that you get to create in your own circus, but instead you allow them to become their most conscious selves as well.
The whole thing is trying to get kids to stand on their own 2 feet, right? And in the parenting map, you outline 3 stages that start with frustration to clarity. Can you map that out for us?
Well, it's a long book with 20 steps, and I give very practical advice. And it's a map, so I encourage all parents to read it. But the first stage really is about asking ourselves why we're so frustrated with our children all the time. I mean, we had them with the greatest love, but then we end up just feeling so much angst and anxiety. And the reason, as I map out in the book, is because we have false beliefs around what it means to be a parent. We have beliefs that we need to keep them happy all the time, or we need to raise a successful, high-achieving child who is good all the time. These are mythologies that actually crucify us as parents and actually create great disconnection instead of connection. And I talk about that in depth in the first part of the book.
Okay, and then your second stage, you talk about breaking dysfunctional patterns and creating conscious choice. And that requires a lot of self-awareness, both for parents and for children. So what are some of those ways then that you can introduce that process and make it a part of your day-to-day experience?
Well, what I really get into here, which is quite unique in this book, is that I outline the 5 ego masks that we wear as parents. You can be a fighter parent, a fixer parent, that's me, a feigner parent, a freezer parent, or a fleer parent. So I describe these masks because most of us are operating from this inauthentic, wounded place because of our dysfunctional patterns from childhood. So in this section of the book, I really teach parents to coach themselves to break free of these dysfunctional loops, as I call them, so that you can better connect with yourself and then your children.
And of course, you talk about conflict and connection, and especially in the teen years. What kind of message do you have for parents who are dealing with teens, tweens at home?
Well, toddlers, tweens, or teens, it's really the same issue at play because we parents get into power struggles with our children because we parents are coming from ego. We want dominance. We want authority. And none of these stages in childhood really hand over subservience as the way we want it. So especially with teenagers, I always tell parents to connect before you correct, because if you keep correcting your teenagers, you will lose them. And teenagers especially, but all children, are looking for significance. They're looking for their own sense of empowerment. And if you're coming from a highly controlling place, tyrannical place, you're going to lose that vital connection with your children.
It's really hard. I have a tween. I mean, she's getting close, but it's hard to find that balance, though. It really is. And then you talk about creating boundaries. So then that's where I find conflict with myself. Like, I want to connect, but then I don't want to be their best friend. So how do you put up those, I guess, establish boundaries without pushing your kids away?
Well, I think boundaries, when they come from a sense of true connection to the self, not as a way to create walls with the other, but really to connect with the self, then the way you communicate those boundaries are about selfhood, not about stopping the other necessarily. It's about stopping yourself. So people often misunderstand boundaries as to mean you control the other. What it really means is you control yourself. So if your tween is talking rudely to you, they can keep talking, but you just leave the room, right? So it's
Okay.
very different. It's a subtle shift. Instead of saying, you dare not talk badly, you say, you know what? This is my boundary. I don't engage with this talk. I will call you later, or I will talk later, and you leave the room is way more powerful a teacher than if you start dominating the other.
Because what does that do when you walk away? Because I'm going to try this now because we're at that stage where the kids are starting to talk back and you just don't know how to handle it.
Oh my goodness. Then they're going to hear their own crazy and they're going to have to
Yes.
stay with their own crazy. And you're like, you can go ahead and be crazy or you can go ahead and talk to yourself, but I'm checking out. And that teaches them a real lesson right away. Wow, no one is engaging with me, so this doesn't work.
Huh.
Oh, I love that.
I love that
I
too.
have a question, not to get too personal, but my two kids handle things very different. They handle their frustrations differently, and I know they're two different personalities. They handle conflict differently. Is that genetic, the way they handle it, and can I do anything to change it because they're still so young?
Oh my goodness, it is so, it's partly genetic, and that genetic component creates their temperament. So you cannot change that. And the best thing you can do as a parent is understand your children's essence. And my entire stage 3 of this book, The Parenting Map, is about recognizing your children's essence. And the minute you understand their essence, what is their unique temperament, then you begin to connect with them. Is this child more of a dreamer? Is this child more of a go-getter? It behooves the parent to not change the temperament, but to begin to flow with the temperament and then to allow the highlights of that temperament to shine forth.
I have to ask you a personal question. You know, I have been watching you on Instagram for a long time, listening to all your advice. Then I saw Oprah said she gives your book to all new parents. Then I listened to your podcast with Oprah. Was that a pinch me moment?
Yes, all of my moments with Oprah are a pinch me moment. And I'm just so honored. And many people will say, you know, but she's not a parent. And I always say that a biological parent does not a mother make. It is about the mothering principle and becoming conscious. And she understands that and has mothered us all, really.
Yes, she's
And
right.
so I always tell people to, you know, back off when they have that criticism because they don't really understand the core of my message.
Well, she opened a school to mother
Right,
those children
right,
as well.
right.
Dr. Shefali, you are so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. We're so appreciative of your time. And her,
Thank you for having me.
If you ever want to come to my house, you're always welcome.
her books, The Conscious Parent, The Awakened Family, and The Parenting Map are all available wherever books are sold.
Oh, I could talk to her for a long time, as you can tell.
So the child, the good child essence, I'm assuming that's your essence, right?
That's
Not
Anthony's.
Anthony's?
Exactly.
That's right. I just wanted to double check.
Exactly.
Okay. Just want to make sure.